Hello and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. Route 664. I think we need to have a little lesson about taxes. That's why I'm wearing my cap hat today. Taxes are really important. They're detrimental in a lot of ways, but they're necessary. And they are expensive, and they can be accumulative, and they can make you very unhappy at times. And the taxes come from a certain place. So the lesson today is about how is the tax structure of this country set up. There's an Internal Revenue Service, and the Internal Revenue Service services the Internal Revenue Code. They were established by Congress to be the interpreters or the enforcers of the Internal Revenue Code. Just like there's a building code and you have a building and zoning department, the building and zoning department enforces the building code. In the case of the collection of taxes and the levying and the enforcement of taxes, it rests with the Internal Revenue Service, and they enforce the Internal Revenue Code. Internal Revenue Code is established by Congress, and it is the blueprint or the basis for how the entire tax system or revenue system will work in the United States. So that Internal Revenue Code has changed over time. In the initial stages, it was simple. It became more and more complex over time as we became more civilized in the financial industries. We had to make change. There had to be changes made to the Internal Revenue Code to suit those things. And the code is today some 70,000 pages. That's what the Internal Revenue Code is. And in that code, there are sections that deal with taxes that are beneficial. And what I mean by beneficial is there's sections of that tax code where you actually have a way to avoid taxes. You actually have a way to benefit from avoiding the taxes. You have certain things that you can do that enable you to do socially beneficial things. What is a socially beneficial thing? Well, supporting charity is socially beneficial. Creating income for yourself is socially beneficial. Taking care of others through the revenue system enables social benefits to occur. So it's a social document. It's about the society in general. So the Internal Revenue Code, with these sections, the Congress said, we need to find ways to help people do certain things. So let's look at some of these sections. You may be familiar with 401k. The 401k is a section that the government says, well, if an employer wants to help their employees to accumulate money for retirement purposes, retirement funding is a good thing. That's why they created Social Security, because it was a supplement to help people retire. They didn't want people to grow old and be poor, and so they wanted to find a way to help them not be poor and make it beneficial for them to do that, encourage them to do that. How do you encourage somebody to do something? You reward them. How do you reward them? You give them lower taxes. And so what a 401k does, it enables an employer to put money into a trust fund for the employees before they pay tax, which means that it's not taxed when it goes into the fund. The other thing that happens in a 401k is that you're able to accumulate money in that trust fund, not taxed while it's accumulating. So you get tax deduction and you get tax-free accumulation. Those are two very important incentives to get people to put money into a trust for their benefits at retirement. Another one is Section 529. Now these are all in this 70,000 pages. They're in a particular section of it. They're not in the administrative instructions or in the precedent structure or in the law, the precedent law. They're in a particular area where you're dealing with how you can create devices, and they're specifically designed for that. So 529 is also another section of the tax code, and that section says that if you want to provide funds for the education of your children, you can put money into a 529 trust account, and you can put it in not tax-free, but it'll grow tax-free. And when the money comes out to support the educational needs of your children, it will be non-taxed when it comes out. It'll go to the institutions where you want it to go, and that's why it's not taxed. So you have two benefits there. You have a benefit of a accumulating money in a tax-free environment and then having it distributed tax-free at a later date to pay for education. But it's very specifically designed for education. And it has got rules in it that say if you don't have, if your child, one child is not going, you can switch it to another child. If it's not for your children, you could use it for yourself. It's a very, very broad use of the educational benefits, but it is an educational benefit. And it was designed by Congress to encourage you to accumulate money for college. It was supposed to alleviate the issue of borrowing money and creating student loan. So they had a social purpose when they created 529. Here's another one. This is a very interesting one. This is 1031. Section 1031 deals with real estate. So what is the benefit that they wanted to create with 1031? 1031 allows you, if you have a piece of commercial real estate where you've owned a shopping center, let's say for 25 years, and now you want to sell that shopping center, or it could be a lower period of time, even you could do it in a year if you wanted to, because it could be a short-term capital gain. But in the case of a long-term hold where you have a long-term capital gain, you can sell the shopping center outright and pay capital gains tax. But the IRS said, well, we want to encourage people to reinvest money, to reinvest their gains. So what they gave you the opportunity to do, if you have a piece of commercial real estate, instead of selling it outright and paying the capital gains tax, you can convert it under a 1031 real estate conversion. A 1031 real estate conversion says you're trading in that piece of real estate for another piece of real estate for the same purposes, and you don't have to pay the tax on the first transaction because you're doing another transaction that's similar to that one. The real estate to real estate transaction allows you to move the property from one form to another form without paying a tax. That's beneficial. Here's another section that's interesting. This is 1035. 1035 says you can convert a life insurance product. You can convert a life insurance policy from one policy to another. And the reason why they established that was to allow you to change your life insurance without being penalized. And they also allow you to change life insurance into annuities without being penalized. And they allow you to change annuities to annuities without being penalized. What is the penalty? If you were to liquidate an annuity, if you said, you buy an annuity just straight out, you buy a variable annuity or a fixed annuity, whatever it is, if there's a gain in the annuity and you terminate the contract, you have to pay tax on the gain, and it's ordinary income tax. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to encourage people to keep their money in annuities and to be able to use those annuities for retirement purposes. That's what the benefit of annuities are. So they wanted to keep you in the annuities because they knew they needed to help you retire. So they gave you the opportunity to change one annuity to another annuity or a life insurance contract to another life insurance contract without having a tax barrier inside. Okay, so then that brings us to what we talk about here on our program. The section of the tax code, which we believe to be one of the most powerful sections of the tax code because it encompasses a lot of the other issues that are raised here, but it's done in a very unusual way. It brings in charity. And one of the things we want you to learn about is social charity. And social is the key word here again because it is social. Congress gave us this section, which is a social section, again, to help society as a whole, to create more charitable wealth while also creating income for the individual for retirement purposes or for income purposes, whether it's retirement or just to generate more income. So social charity has a lot of the characteristics of 401k, 529, 1031, and 1035. And it also is one of 3 sections in this 70,000 pages, which gives you an opportunity to do something really good with your money that doesn't involve tax. So 664 gives you the opportunity to change real estate from one type to another form of investment without having to pay a tax. It gives you the opportunity to accumulate money inside a plan to allow income to be paid to grandchildren, for example, for their college education, which is like a 529. It gives you the opportunity to create income for your later life, like a retirement fund. It's like a 401k in the sense that it has a tax deductible feature where you're not paying with all taxable dollars, but rather non-tax dollars. It gives you the opportunity to increase the amount of income that you're going to have at retirement. And that's very important because under 401k, when they made this section of the tax code, they put restrictions on it. And those restrictions are with regard to the amount that you could put in, how much you could actually accumulate on a pre-tax basis. And so 401k is good, but it's not as good as it could be or as good as it should be in order to handle people who have a lot of income. And people who have a lot of income are not going to get enough out of the 401k to allow themselves to retire in the style that they might ordinarily be able to retire if they had another means to do that. And so 664 allows you to do that. That's the tax code in a nutshell. And these are the beneficial sections that most people know about. And 664 is the one that we want you to remember the most about. So here's a little trivia quiz about something that's involving Section 664. Pay attention. Okay, now you can see I've changed my hat. And I am no longer a cap. Right now, I am a wizard. So where I was a teacher as a cap, I am now the student. And here to ask me the questions of the day is my sidekick, Wanda. How are you, Wanda? Nice to see you. Side dish. So what do we got? What do we got coming up to? What? All right, good.
A little radio, and
All
then just wanted to stop in and say hi.
Yeah. Good
But
to see
I'd like to reach into the grab bag and get some interesting questions
You bet.
from it. So this question is about mental health. In the face of ongoing challenges related to mental health, how can your wizard cap work with Tax Code 664 to promote mental wellness initiatives, destigmatize mental health issues, and provide necessary support to those in need? How can we tackle mental health?
Okay, mental health is actually comes through the life cycle of the individual and how that individual is educated, how they're parented. Part of the. You want this up? Yeah. So, all right, here you go. Better? Thank you. Okay, I got to get my wizard head adjusted here. So, mental health, it is, it starts early. I think that there are things that are damaging to youngsters, particularly today, where with regard to anxiety that they have over their safety and their security and their future. And so one of the things I think would help with mental health is to help kids know that they are secure and that they have the best education possible and they have a future.
We
and,
call that safe schools.
Safe schools, great schools. Yeah, we want them. That's one of the things we encourage with Section 664 and the Endow American Network Foundation as one of its projects is Safe Schools, Great Schools. So that's where a lot of it starts. And part of that is also how do you deal with some of the mental health issues that are in youngsters where they're not being treated elsewhere. They need to have a way to get that taken care of at the educational level where they're in school and the school recognizes the problem and they can help that child go through a triage that includes medical, legal, and educational functions to enable that youngster to get back into mainstream and to not be a problem child. And then, of course, there's the funding overall for mental health treatment. And we need to be able to have mental health facilities that are provided for the public at no cost and that are not subject to insurance needs, but that are provided through nonprofit organizations who have taken up mental health issues as their mantle and that want to be successful with that. So they need to be endowed. And the way to endow them is using social charity devices. It creates the endowment very quickly for them to be able to sustain themselves and to be able to provide services on a continuing basis and not have to worry about where the money's coming from. A lot of mental health institutions, a lot of mental health issues are being funded by the government, the federal government, which is really not appropriate. It needs to go to the non-governmental organizations through the public and in the communities that they're in. That's one of the things we also are working on very closely with the Chamber of Commerce, with our Chambers of Commerce, the Aventura Chamber of Commerce and Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce. We want to expand that to other chambers of commerce. We think that they can have a very significant hand in raising the endowment for the mental health institutions.
Would Safe Streets and Great Streets also come under that, like just keeping maybe people off the streets?
Same thing.
Same part of that?
That's another part of our projects. We have Safe Streets, Great Streets, Safe Homes, Great Homes. Those things are very important for the continuing protection of those individuals that are having those issues. They need to be helped and they need to be given facilities to be able to be successful.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Another question. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, what factors should I consider when selecting a charitable organization or cause to donate my real estate? And how can I ensure that that organization is well equipped to handle and maximize the value of my donated property?
Okay, well, there's two parts of that. Donating real estate is a really good way to do certain things. We talked about a 1031 exchange in the lesson there, that 1031 allows you to exchange a property for another property without having a capital gain. What we do with the Endow American Network Foundation, we will accept real estate as a charitable gift, but we will also allow you to have income back from that gift, even after you've given it, through our pooled income fund. And that is a way for you to increase the benefits of your own real estate transaction by not having a tax and also getting a tax deduction. That's something you can't get in a 1031. 1031 you can do an exchange where you don't have the capital gains tax to pay immediately, but you don't get a tax deduction. So real estate transaction, when we accept real estate, we're an unusual organization that can do that. Not all organizations are equipped to do that. And so you need to check and see whether your nonprofit, well, let's go back for a second. You need to pick a nonprofit that you want to support or nonprofits that you want to support, whatever theme that might be, whether it's mental health, whether it's pets, whatever it is that you want to help. And by the way, as a good philanthropist, you need to become involved in that more than just the giving. Maybe it could be your genius, what you want to work at for the rest of your life, and you love doing 24 hours a day, making sure that pets are taken care of, or making sure that people are taken care of, or making sure that a cause is moved along that you believe in. And that's what philanthropy is all about. So if you can use our Endow American Network Foundation or any other community foundation that can do this, you need to use them to help you do what you want to do. And that's what community foundations do. Through donor-advised funds, you can pick a community foundation, make your gifts to that community foundation into your own donor-advised fund, and then you can tell that community foundation where to direct those funds into the community, into where you see fit, what you want to help, what you want to solve, what problems you want to solve. You can do that yourself. So really, giving today has broadened where you have a lot more control over the giving. And I think that's important in this day and time. People need to trust what they're doing.
So to pick your organization, you leave that up to you had that conversation with your advisor.
If you have a philanthropic advisor, yes. The philanthropic advisors are very important. They can help you make decisions about what nonprofit organizations you want to go to. Philanthropic advisors do work with community foundations. There are philanthropic advisors that are independent philanthropic advisors, and you can find those on, you can find those listed on our website at socialcharity.org. There are other places where you can find them. You can check with the American College under their Chartered Advisor and Philanthropy program, or you can use our website at socialcharity.org. It's important that you work with an advisor that understands philanthropy, understands the charitable world, understands the benefits of tax planning. And sometimes it requires more than one. It sometimes may require a chartered advisor that's inside your charitable organization to direct you to advisors who are chartered or advisors in philanthropy outside of the organization, so that when you're doing your legal work and your accounting planning, your financial planning, those things are joined together so that there's a cohesion in the planning overall. So you're not doing one piece of it that may be affected by another piece, but the point of it is that you're getting advice from someone who understands all of the possibilities that are out there. And those possibilities are pretty significant. The number of different equations, I would say, in the social charity planning arena, where you're dealing with income planning, tax savings, family planning, estate planning, it's all wound up in one thing. It's kind of like a woman's brain.
What?
A sexist would say. Anyway, but that's true, because women's brains goes, and that's what social charity is all like. A man has these boxes. Remember?
Are you inside a woman's brain, or is this just your observation from
Yeah,
outside?
it's outside, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've had experience.
Okay, a few.
Yeah.
And that's what's so good about the wizard cap. It helps you be able to do all these things. And
It
not
does.
many people can wear that cap.
No, and ever since I bumped my head, this thing fits better. It's.
And in fact, one more question.
Sure.
If your wizard cap had the power to solve one pressing global issue like climate change or income inequality using tax code 664, what catchphrase would it shout as it activated its philanthropic magic? We need a catchphrase.
664, not war. 664 is more.
Okay.
Or
664!
yeah, or the most complicated one is we want to create humankindization and stop the belligeration to save the nation through communication. And that's my rap of the day.
That is not a catchphrase. That's a catch all.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. We're gonna have a little bit more discussion about
That's
all this
great.
stuff as we go along. And that's where you can catch us every Thursday here on the Community News channel, and you can also check us out on our webcast, podcast.
Route664.org.
You ever just want to tune out the world and relax? Then you've come to the right place. At Route664.org, we've got great music that will keep you entertained for hours and uplifting conversation that will make you feel good about yourself and the world. So come on in and take a load off. We won't judge here. Route664.org.
And we're back.
Yay.
And so what's on the agenda? We have a breakfast coming up actually tomorrow morning at at Moe's in Aventura on 187th Street. That's June 2nd at 8:30. The Aventura Chamber of Commerce and the Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce combining for the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce is holding a breakfast, and we're going to have some interesting presentations there of new members, people that have just joined. We want to welcome the Memorial Hospital Group, Memorial Health Group. They become a very important community support member, and we would look forward to working with them in the future to build the good health of the community. Yeah. So we've got that coming up. And then we also have some very important publishing information. We're going to be putting out a resource directory, a resource guide that will enable kind of like the Yellow Pages used to be, but not as in depth. And it's only for
What's the Yellow Pages?
And it's only for the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach area. So it'll list all of the professionals there and give an opportunity for people come from out of town where they can get it's kind of like a resource guide for Relo, and it's also a resource guide for people who live there. That's something they can keep for a whole year. It's be an annual edition, so it should be interesting.
Sunny Isles. What time is that?
That's at 8:30 tomorrow at Moe's.
Friday?
June 2nd. Friday, June 2nd at Moe's.
You guys meet every Friday, not every Friday, one Friday.
Well, we meet every Wednesday for our team meeting on the Endow American Network Foundation. And that team meeting is where we do most of our planning. And
I'm at the chamber, though.
Well, the chamber meets monthly, generally.
Monthly?
Yeah.
At Moe's?
Yeah, at Moe's. Generally at Moe's. But we have had we had a meeting at the Olive Garden one of the other days. There's a lot of opportunities to meet, places to meet in Aventura and Sunny Isles Beach. And we want to solve the problems there.
You ever meet on the beach?
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes it a little exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to talk about the radio station a little bit before we jump out of here. Coming up today at 1 o'clock, don't forget Cammie Baker. Every day at 1 o'clock, Cammie Baker talks about real estate, donating real estate.
Real estate donations are important.
They are very important. 2 o'clock, we have Michael Chapman Giving Show. He talks to philanthropists and all sorts of philanthropy things going on around. 4 o'clock, don't forget Julianne Buck and another interview with the great Les Winston, and all of our interviews are on our radio station, Route664.org.
She was good. She was Grundy County Community Foundation, a little county up in Illinois.
Great song by John Michael Montgomery, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
It's a country song that I love. Grundy County Auction. It's called Sold. But anyway, Julianne Buck, this week at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock every day is the Soul of Business with Blaine Bartlett, and great conversations with Blaine and folks, and just getting to the heart of running a big business with a little soul and not such bottom line thinking. Thank you. And then more interviews with Les and throughout the day. And then don't forget at 7 o'clock, it is the other Les, Haber and Just Jazz. So that's our Thursday lineup. And then check the schedule. It's on our Facebook page for all the great music shows and, of course, the great interviews about philanthropy.
Yep. And don't forget Sundays if you're cleaning your house.
If you're cleaning your house,
you have a big chore to do, whatever it is. Listen, the whole day. Great house cleaning music.
Great. So, I think that's it for now.
Yeah, I think we're good, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week with the Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness.
If you have any questions,
to each other, and if you have any questions, go to the website,
or you can leave them down below in the comments section here at Miami Community Newspaper or on our Facebook page. We'd appreciate them.
Yep, socialscharity.org is the website, and we hope that you'll check it out and donate. You can donate online if you like what we're doing. You want to support the work that we're doing. We do accept cash donations, but we also accept non-cash donations, and we do very good things with it. Have a great week.
We've got best-selling authors.
You are going to start to uncover all the layers that are covering your genius.
And some of the world's top leadership experts.
We have structured a mastermind program that is very unusual and it is very powerful.
Robin Sharma at noon.
Your creativity will soar, your productivity will be epic, your impact will be legendary, you will be the best in the business, and you will not only achieve remarkable things, but you're gonna feel sunsets, you'll feel a connection to people, you'll feel for what's going on in the world, and that will make you a world changer in your own unique way.
Robin Sharma at noon at 4 p.m.
It's a
Blaine Bartlett.
exploration of what it takes to be a highly effective leader in today's fast-changing environment.
Best-selling author, executive and leadership coach.
And if you've been liking what you've been listening to on these Soul of Business podcasts, how does one become a leader that can keep connection to the soul of business?
Blaine Bartlett at 4 p.m.
Look forward to seeing you there.
at Route664.org. This is Route 664 Radio.